So as a police officer, there's always this huge question, the question of division or racism or segregation or what it means to be a part of a subpopulation. And in all my years in law enforcement, I knew that was the question. I knew that that one would have to be answered one day, but I didn't have the answer for it. So the answer for me came when I had a discussion with my brother-in-law. And he has some different opinions and some different views, and we had the opportunity to have an online dialogue about all the shootings between different races, different racial groups, and what it meant for the different communities as a whole. And I remember thinking, I was sitting in my patrol car on my lunch break, and he'd sent me a message through Instagram, and he was like, man, how could you be a part of this? And without stating it specifically, he was basically saying, how could you be a police officer? And that was my world. This is my life. This is what I love. This is what I do. And this is what God's called me to be. And I thought, you know what? It doesn't have to be this way. The world doesn't have to be this way. The community doesn't have to be this way. And then I thought, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And I prayed and I was like, the answer is simple. The answer is so simple. Be a human being. Love one another as I have loved you. So I messaged him back. I was like, hey, brother, I want you to know that I love you and I'm going to make a difference. I am going to make a difference. It stops with me. Let's give this a shot. And I remember that I walked into this gas station. I was like, hey, I said, I need some help. And there was this lady behind the counter. I'd seen her every day, but she was a stranger in sorts. And I was like, I want to give you a hug. And she kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, listen, I'm going to change the world, but I need your help. And I said, I want to give you a hug and I want to post on social media about it. And she's like, I'm game, let's do it. And what started in that moment was the sharing of love between one person and another person. Just take race completely aside. Take the badge off. Take everything else that the world wants to criticize as being different aside. And what you had there was a genuine exchange of human love. Fast forward, 14 hugs later, I'm on Fox and Friends, streamed live out of Atlanta to New York City, and one of the largest media platforms in the entire world. What a wonderful opportunity. But it didn't stop there. Every single day on the street, I encounter people that have problems, that have needs. And who they know me as now is the guy that cares. I'm not the police officer. I'm not that guy anymore. That's what I do for a living, but what they know me as is the guy that cares. The pivotal moment for me was realizing that something had to be done, and I was the one to do it. I kept looking for someone else. I kept looking for another way, but that's not it. My calling is to be the change, and it's everybody's calling. They just don't see it. They need to have that moment. They need to see what it's like to look on the other side of the fence and say, you know what, the grass can be greener on both sides. It just takes one person to make a difference, and that's why I'm here.